is Offbeat, podcast that helps you to transform your career aspirations into reality. With your host, Adnan Sohail.
Hey everyone, thank you very much for coming back on Offbeat. Good news, your CV is shortlisted, you got a call and you have to go for your job interview. Great thing. Preparing for a job interview, it's a time-consuming, anticipation the question, and after that preparation, it takes time, but definitely this is very much important. After the CV, this is your second and most probably the last chance to impress your recruiter. How to prepare your job interview question so that you can come out from the room with an offer letter or with a success. With me today, once again, is none other than Trisha Chapman. We welcome her back on our channel. She was last time here. She gave you great tips on CV writing. So thank you very much, Trisha, for joining me again.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Interview is one of the very, very key or important step to prepare in all this journey of job hunt. So I'm going to ask you a question today, very much specific, and you have to reveal us all the secrets from the point of view of the recruiter. Someone received now the offer that yes, come for the job interview. Take us all through the procedure that how they have to prepare and what should be the mental and physical preparation before appearing for interview.
The interview process is extremely important in the terms of job hunting. It's an opportunity where the employer or prospective employer can have a chance to meet you and also understand more of your skills and attributes. In addition, it's also a chance for the job seeker to make sure that they are the correct fit for the company. So you get a chance for both sides to understand each other. So it's really important to prepare. You need to be ensuring that you are preparing physically in terms of conducting research of the company, understanding the job description, finding the culture within that company, doing research on the LinkedIn in terms of their employers, as well as a hiring manager, as well as psychological preparations. So for example, you want to be making sure that you are mentally prepared.
We go back probably 5 to 10 years. There was only way that you have to go and sit in front of the recruiter or interviewer. But now with the passage of time, there are traditional ways to conduct interviews, still its own place, but now there are more modern ways also. So can you please walk us through that what are now the different modes to conduct the interview so that all the job seekers should be prepared for that?
Nowadays with technology, there is various different types, not only phone calls, but you could have a Skype interview and potentially other apps depending on what region you are in. But you need to be prepared and make sure you know the different styles in terms of phone calls, Skype or face-to-face.
When we are talking about phone interview or telephone interview, because I believe this is going to be very first interaction with someone, you have to chat over the phone. Person is not watching you, how you look like, how much energy you have got. So can you just tell us that how to prepare for the job interview, especially when it's going to happen over the telephone?
Of course, some people may think that it's more easy to have a telephone interview because they don't have to be physically there, you don't have to be dressed as immaculately. However, it can be actually more difficult. Why? You can't see the person's body image or physical features in their emotional expressions. Quite often as well, it's really important to make sure that you let the interviewer on the phone finish the sentence the full way before answering. You can't see how they're reacting. You want to make sure that you've got a glass of water in front of you so that your mouth is not as dry. Also practice smiling when you're talking, even on the phone. This will allow your tone of voice to change rather than keeping one flat tone on the phone. And my advice would be to have the company profile as well as your resume in front of you at the time of the interview. You can easily reflect to this when talking.
I'm sure that people must be doing some mistakes also. What kind of mistakes over the phone, which can on the other side give a clue to the recruiter that no, this is not a right fit. What kind of mistakes are those?
So reading word for word something that you have pre-prepared that's not in relation to the question because you're trying to be so prepared. over preparation, I guess. Again, making sure that the recruiter finishes the complete question and making sure that you understand exactly what they're asking before giving your response.
Right.
Another quick little tip maybe is walk around as you're on the phone answering. This will make sure that you're sounding confident and increasing your tone of voice and using or emphasizing particular words.
And now, as you mentioned about the Skype or video interview, again, you are not sitting in front of someone. And this is, I think, so nowadays common because companies are global. Maybe the recruiter is sitting in other part of the world, timing is different, and sometimes even the way people speak. How to prepare for the video interview, if you can tell us?
So in terms of preparation, there's not really extreme differences no matter what type of interview. You need to make sure that you're researching the company. This is paramount. Using words that are already on their website, as well as their LinkedIn's, the company profile. But make sure that you are looking at the camera, the screen, rather than beyond it or to the side. It shows full engagement to the interviewer. Again, have the company profile with you. You can set it aside from the screen so that you can quickly reflect to it. But it's really important that you are preparing for these types of interviews well in advance.
If you have got a chance to appear on in video interview, just let us know how was your experience, because as Trisha is mentioning, throughout the interview procedure there will be two things very much important. One is physical preparation and one is psychological preparation. If it is a telephone interview, if it is a video interview, what is your background, where are you sitting, if it is a noisy place or it's a comfortable place. If you are your interview and you are sitting at home, maybe your pets are not running around you or the kids are not running around you. So I think so physical preparation also very much important.
Definitely. You need to make sure that your surroundings are appropriate, making sure that your phone's on silent if you've got another one. Remember too to be using open body gestures. You can keep your palms open in front of the camera, showing that you are relaxed, making sure that you're not slouching forward. Even in a Skype interview, these things are important, that you are completely focused. You want to appear that you are open, interested, and not stumbling across within the interview.
I remember one of my friends, he was having his video interview, he was dressed up, but he was in shorts, all right? And eventually what happened that he has to pick a piece of paper in front of the video interview, and that was such an embarrassing moment for him that he had to move a little bit and he has to stand up from his seat. So that was really, so I think so your dressing also does matter a lot. Even if you are having a face-to-face interview or you are having a video interview, dress yourself proper in order to avoid any kind of difficult situation.
Be prepared just as much for a Skype interview or video interview as you would be physically at the interview.
Exactly.
One thing I forgot to mention is planning your routes.
Yeah.
If it's not a Skype interview, do a dry run. If you're going to the office where the interview is being held, see how long it will take you to drive or to commute to the location. Yeah, forgot to mention this.
Beautiful morning is, or afternoon is here. You are excited, but of course in the same time you are a little bit afraid or nervous that you are going for your job interview. How important is this to understand the company and the interviewer before reaching there?
It's really important to be mentally and physically prepared. You need to try to research the employer, find out what their values, what their goals are, and you really should study their job description. This will give you a competitive edge.
Yeah.
So if you really understand what they're looking for, you can tailor your responses to this.
Yeah.
Try to avoid asking questions throughout the interview. Let them run or guide the interview itself. Make them feel that they're in control.
I personally have faced this thing when we used to go in interview, let's be honest, but in the same time when we conduct interview and we see people, they are nervous, they just look here and there, not having a good eye contact, or maybe their hands or something is a little bit shivering. So can you please tell us that about the body language and how to maintain the level of confidence in front of interviewer?
This is probably the most difficult thing to be able to teach someone. Unfortunately, interpersonal skills don't come as natural to some as others.
Yeah.
This is why it's paramount to practice interviewing, grab a friend, family member, someone that you can do a mock interview with, so that you are physically prepared and that the questions may just roll off your tongue, or the answers to the questions roll off quite easily. So preparation is key. Practice, research the company, again, keywords that they already use, and also be able to demonstrate how you have used these in your previous experience.
Practice is very much important, and a lot of people, especially as they go higher on their career ladder, they forget about it, or they don't think that this is necessary. But honestly speaking, whenever you go, regardless where you are in your career, practice makes a lot of difference. It boosts your confidence when you sit in front of the recruiter. So I totally agree with you. Tell me that what kind of questions they're going to ask. Is this straightforward their question, or there will be some different kind of questions like behavioral, situational, or related to the CV? If you can quickly go through this, please.
So there is two different types. You've got your standard approach to an interview in terms of asking you to explain your CV, give you your history, maybe what types of skills and attributes that you have got. And then you have got situational or behavioral questions. And what this means is what types of situations that you have been in, that you have demonstrated your skills and maybe a situation that's happened. So something like conflict resolution, or a difficult time that you experienced, or how you overcome a sales call, converting it to sales. So you need to be able to explain this, and the best approach would be a STAR response.
I can understand, but if you can quickly go through that, what is STAR, please?
STAR response is basically the way you reacted to a situation or a behavioral response. So these questions, they are developed for the hiring manager to gain a crucial insight into how you reacted to this situation, or even specific circumstances within this job. So it's really important to be able to explain your situation using the STAR method. So situational, the task that you completed or the actions that you implemented, and then what result you got as a result of implementing these actions.
Sure that a lot of people will be now thinking that, okay, these are the things. A lot of people at workplace, their colleagues, their friends, they can talk about it. But from the point of view of a recruiter or a hiring manager, how to handle different questions. This is a very, very much important section which now we're going to speak, that how practically handle the questions inside your interview. So I hope you will find it useful. So now let's just talk quickly about actual questions when it will be asked during the interview. And now we want your feedback, but in the same time guideline for the people to prepare for that.
This is quite a broad topic, to be honest. It could be very many questions, but maybe one off the top of my head, tell us a little bit about yourself. This can be extremely difficult to answer because it's such a big question that you don't know where to start.
A lot of people think that when someone asks that, tell us about yourself, and they have to go through their CV. Is it true, or they expect something different when they ask, tell us about yourself?
So my humble opinion is, don't reiterate what's on your CV. They've got it right in front of you, but this is your chance to give your elevator pitch, okay? So you want to make sure that you're setting the tone for the interview and directing the interview to where you want it to be going. So maybe like a 3 to 4 sentences, have this pre-prepared. You want to highlight some achievements and showcase your value in answering this question. Don't spend so much time rambling on about all of your high school achievements, how many pets you've got. Make it punchy, capture your value, and I'd be more than happy to provide some examples. If you'd be interested, you can drop some comments below, and I'm happy to help with elevator pitches.
We appreciate Trisha's time, not only to speak here on this channel and to help you people, but in the same time, we truly appreciate that she's very much open to offer. If you guys like to listen what exactly should be the answer of questions, you can drop down comment and Trisha probably is going to respond you, or maybe if in future you would like to get a playbook from her with the answer of questions, she'll be happy to do that. Thank you very much, Trisha. You are really generous.
You are most welcome. Happy to help.
What are your strengths? How to handle this question? What to say there?
Great.
I have good muscles.
No, my dear, you need to show your value. So what can you bring to the company that will benefit the company itself in reaching their objectives? For example, read the job description, find out what type of skills they're looking for, and then show what you can bring to the table.
Right.
For example, it may have hard skills and soft skills, and then how can you bring these? Okay, so it's really important to be matching your answer to what they're asking.
A lot of people, when the question comes, tell us about your weakness. And it's a myth that tell your strengths, portraying that it's your weakness. And I think so the time has changed. Even recruiters, they also read that kind of articles and see videos online and they expect that the people are going to now pretend that this is actual their strengths, but they are portraying that this is my weakness. Like I'm very much conscious about the time and I love finishing things on time. So tell us that what exactly is the meaning that's when they ask, tell us about your weakness?
Great question. Because we've all got weaknesses, we rarely want to admit them. It's really best to begin with a truthful answer. Build your script from there. Select an answer that perhaps is not essential to the hiring managers. Something that's not paramount to be included in that job description. Something that would be easy to overcome. For example, public speaking. If you were quite poor at public speaking, you could mention this as a weakness. And then you can explain some experiences that you have had in trying to improve this.
Right, great. Yeah.
For example, public speaking, if this is a weakness, you could mention this and say that you have been to several networking events to try and improve your public speaking.
It's a good advice. Like all of us, we do have weakness and we cannot always hide it. And I think so instead of talking about those things which are your not actual weakness and you are just showing off in front of the recruiter, let's be honest and admit that I'm not good in this computer skill. I'm not good in this public speaking as you have mentioned. But in the same time, you can mention that I'm working on it. I'm learning this skill. I was at this point 6 months ago, but now I have tried to improve and I've reached this point and I can expect in the next 6 months I will be even better than this. So that's going to even show your commitment that not only you realize your weakness, but in the same time you have got an action plan in order to improve that.
Absolutely. This is exactly what employers are looking for. Self-growth, self-development of how you can benefit the company.
Great news, Trisha. That person has received the offer letter. They asked him to join from the next week and now he's getting ready for that. What it looked like for 30, 60 and 90 days plan. Sometimes companies do ask the employee when they reach first time after onboarding procedure. Sometimes they ask before joining, and sometimes even I have personally experienced that during the interview and hiring process, they ask that, tell us that how will be your first 30, 60 and 90 days at workplace. How to handle this?
Yeah, great question. This can stump quite a number of interviewees. First of all, you need to make sure that you are understanding why are they asking this? What's the reasoning or the rationale behind it? So usually this corresponds to the first probation period. For example, 90 days is quite often probation period. So there's a number of reasons. They want to maybe think about how you will be performing within the company within these days, whether you want to understand the organizational culture. So that's what I would recommend the first 30 days to be understanding the organizational chart. So find out within your team the roles and responsibilities of each team member. Then for the next 60 days, understands their job descriptions, what company objectives, company goals are, and how these people, including yourself, are going to be meeting these expectations. Then for the 90 days up to the first 3 months, work out your own KPIs and how you will complete these KPIs with what tasks you will be completing.
One quick tip even I would like to add here, that is 30, 60 and 90 days. That is actually your employer wants to see that how you are going to perform. You cannot cheat at that place. You cannot play any tricky game. So they really want to understand if you have given the opportunity, how you will do. So I always tell to people that divide your these 30, 60 and 90 days, learning, digestion and then delivery. So first 30 days, learn about the company and their culture and a position, about their clients, about their customers and about their competition, challenges, inside, outside. Second one is digest that. Then after learning those things, now feel yourself that now you are the part of that. Now that is on your head. You have to take that responsibility. And the last thing is start delivering what you have promised during that great interview time and over the phone, in your email, and you said that you are the best fit for this position. So I think so last 90 days or last 30 days of this 60 day is going to be the delivery period where actually you should start producing results. Because again, as you mentioned, that this is your probation period, it's very much important. So you have to very much be organized in that place. Do not think that it's a honeymoon period, no one is going to ask me anything. I even sometimes suggest people that you start your work before starting. Do not think that first day you will reach there and now you have to plan the things. The moment when you have got the news that they are positive and wants to move ahead, plan your 30, 60 and 90 days.
Absolutely, definitely. And don't forget to track things. For example, create a simple Excel sheet and start tracking the customer visits you have done or what you would like to foresee yourself doing so that then it's measurable.
Another important question which can really shake people and their confidence during the interview, and that is, tell us a situation when you went above and beyond your responsibilities at workplace.
Sure, great. So this is your chance to shine, I guess. Just be careful. Don't be too exuberant or over the top. Something that would be definitely achievable, that you would be able to do this. But it could be simple as volunteering. For example, that you have helped a new joiner, or that you stayed back after working hours and helped someone with a task that you are strong at. Simple things that show empathy and play on emotions of the interviewer.
Inside the organization or outside the organization, a lot of time people face the difficult situation. And of course, every recruiter is very much conscious to see that how someone is capable to handle difficult situation, whether it's a difficult conversation with the colleague, whether it's the overload of the work, or maybe sometime angry customer. So how to answer this question when they ask, like, tell us something that when you handled a difficult situation?
So how to handle a difficult situation, as we previously mentioned, try to rely or focus on answering with a star response, okay? So explain the situation, give the interviewer a little bit of background so that they know where you're coming from. Explain the task that you were involved in. Give an action, so what you implemented to be able to overcome this situation, and then the result. So what actually was the outcome of your actions?
Cultural fit, this is another thing which interviewers really wants to see. And you have to, or if person has to work with the team as a boss, as a manager, or maybe as a subordinate, but he has to work with a manager. I think so disagreements are something very much normal. It happens all workplaces. But most important thing is interviewer wants to see that if this candidate has any disagreement with the manager or senior, how to handle that disagreement. So if they will ask that, tell us some situation when you had to disagree with your manager, how you handled that situation.
So it's important to be able to give feedback or let the manager or whoever you are having conflict know that there is a problem. Don't let it lie. Don't let the problem continue. So ask to speak with the manager or whomever you're having the problem with in a quiet room. Ask if they've got 5 or 10 minutes to speak confidential. This shows that you are proactively trying to resolve the problem. If you want to have a mentor or a third person in the room to make sure that it's neutral, you should feel welcome to be able to do this. But it's important to nip the bud, as they say, quickly. Don't let the issue drag on, but it's important to maintain confidentiality. And once you have resolved or finished that conversational meeting, act normal outside of that room. Don't hold the grudge.
True. Communication is very much important thing. frequent open communication, and one important thing which most of the people forget, to understand the life of the manager. They should also understand that who is my manager, what is their responsibilities, where they are having this flexibility to give it to their subordinate or team, and where they do not have the flexibility. So when someone will really understand the life responsibility and understand better their manager, I think so they can reduce such type of incidents. So I think so answering this question is one thing, but is a quick tip that whenever you will be at your workplace, understand the life and responsibilities of your manager also, and this will really reduce all of your conflicts between your teammates or maybe with your manager. Another important question, and that's how, like, you work this much time, why you didn't work last 6 months, how to handle the gaps.
First of all, you need to be honest. So why were you not employed? For example, maybe you were a new mum who is returning to the workforce from having children, or you were made redundant, or whatever the reason why, be honest with this, because you don't want to be caught out. However, there is many different options that you can include on your CV or answering the interview of what your gap was. You may say that you have attended networking events within this gap, to increase your network capacity. Right. You may have volunteered. You can add this, you can explain this gap. Perhaps you traveled, and that's more than welcomed to be able to explain. You just need to be honest and what you have done in this gap to benefit your career.
So the point is this, it's not an interrogation that they are asking you why, and actually they want to understand that it can happen with anyone. So what was your action, whether it's a difficult situation, whether it's the matter of your gap on your CV, or maybe it's the matter of termination. Actually what your recruiter wants to understand, I believe this thing, maybe you can correct me, they want to understand that what you done in that particular situation. Okay, there is a gap, so how you utilize that gap, exactly as you said, that maybe they have done some learning and development, so maybe have they traveled, they have done some volunteer work. So I think so that's the important thing which show you that how important you can be that work for that work.
Absolutely, because it consolidates that you're proactive.
Why should I hire you? Not you is a question. And again, people think that no, yes, now there is a good news coming. But how to handle this question?
I've probably reiterated the point so many times, but you need to showcase your value. Okay, so don't explain that you want to increase your career or travel because it's an international company, but you need to showcase the value that you will bring to the company. Right. Okay, so it's really important to be able to show your skills and show what attributes that you have got that will benefit them in having you in the company.
And the last important question during the interview, it could be, what is your salary expectation?
This can be a tricky question to answer. But before you consider answering this, it's important to know the going rate for your industry. There are many different job portals or websites that you could have a look at. Payscale.com, Glassdoor.com, or Salary.com. Right. So if you conduct some research before you are going to the interview to be able to know the bracket or the range, then you're not going to overestimate or undersell yourself. So these will be able to understand the market range. Okay, it's important also to note that it's not always the dollar value. Sometimes they're asking us to showcase whether you value the job itself and not the dollar value.
I'm sure that at the end, most of the recruiter, they ask, do you have any question? What should be the answer of that? Should the candidate say, no, I'm okay? Or should he ask some question?
It's really important to have a couple of questions prepared. It shows that you are definitely interested, engaged in the role. Perhaps you could ask exactly what we were talking about. What would be my 30, 60 or 90-day expectations if you haven't been asked this? You could also ask, what's the company culture like? Or are there different nationalities among the group so that you can gauge the types of interactions you may be having? Perhaps even what challenges is the company currently facing? which then you could reply to the skills that you could offer to fix these complications they're having. But it's important to have some prepared.
Sounds good. Yes, you should be having some constructive questions instead of asking what will be my working hours, when the salary will be transferred to my bank account, when can I join it, or was my interview good? These are quite childish questions. So if, again, this is a point where you can impress your recruiter, exactly as you said, that understand the culture of the company. I always favorite this thing to ask that, what are the challenges associated with this role? So who are the people who were successful in this position, what they have done? Who are the people who remained unsuccessful in this position, what they have done? So I think so this kind of questions show that how much you are keen about the workplace, and it shows your commitment and preparation that you want to be successful at workplace.
Absolutely. And as you said, preparation is key. You really need to put the time in to be doing this research.
Throughout the interview process, telephone, Skype, face-to-face, what kind of mistakes people do?
First of all, they explain their life history, okay? You've only got a limited time to showcase your abilities and your skills. So try to be clear and concise. You don't want to be discussing things that is already on the resume in front of the recruiter. Discussing salary straight away. This should be initiated by the interviewer, not by the interviewee. Also, irrelevant information, okay? That's, for example, that you're unemployed and ready to go straight away. You want the interviewer to be leading this conversation rather than you directing the conversation itself.
Finally, tell us follow-ups and post-interview steps which can even make impression better. So what the candidate should do?
Great question. So at the end of the interview, if you don't already have a contact number or a contact email, ask for this to say that you're really interested in following up and would like to give them a call or email at their convenience if it would be possible. So definitely ask for a contact number. Perhaps when would you be expected to receive another call or a follow-up, so that you're not left thinking or wondering at the end of the interview.
Any final piece of advice for all the job seekers who are in the stage that they have to appear tomorrow, day after, or next week for their interview? Any piece of advice you want to give?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, tailor your applications to the job description. Okay, do your research. Be confident in what you are describing or interviewing, okay? Body language in interviews is really, really important. If you can display being confident, you'll give the interviewer the confidence that you are the right person.
Guys, I'm sure that you have got a lot of information from Trisha, and these are the information which usually people charge a lot of money to give this kind of piece of advice. Please join me by clicking subscribe button, hitting the like button, so that we all can say thank you to all of our these great guests who are coming here and giving you time and their best knowledge so that you can become successful. Thank you very much, Trisha, for joining, and it was really a great session, and love to sit with you once again.
You are most welcome anytime. All the best for all your viewers.
Thank you very much. In case you didn't subscribe the channel, do it. Just send me your comments. In case you are having questions, which I'm sure you will be having, do send it to us and we will be happy to answer you. Till next week, goodbye.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon for regular updates.